Judaism tries to heal you by telling you, you better show up, everything matters. And so one is trying to relieve the pressure on your nervous system, the other one is trying to build enough motivation to carry a broken nervous system. It's not trying to heal you, it's trying to heal the world through you.
Right.
It's a very different message.
It's very different, yeah.
Yes, it's firing you up. Buddhism is like calm waters, and Judaism is like a raving fire. You know, when it would touch someone, when the Kabbalah would enter someone's heart, they would become like a living fire. People would go get warm next to them, spiritually.
Right. I guess both can heal. Both can heal you.
It's different. It depends what you're trying to heal. There are levels within the soul that Buddhism cannot heal.
Go ahead.
Because Judaism is much more ancient. If you want something that can potentially compete with Judaism, even though it can't, from my perspective, but something that gets close would be Hinduism. And Hinduism is idols, but Judaism came at a time of idol worship. Judaism is closely related to idol worship, except it says, don't worship the idols, worship the one who created the idols. So we call him Eleheu Elohim, the God of the gods. We worship the God of the gods, but knowing the gods gives you context for the God of the gods. Not knowing the gods, thinking logically, being intellectual, or even in Buddhism where you're worshipping the essence of things, but without a proper language to really approach him. You're just doing it through reality, not through language. So there,
what do you mean by that? Doing it through reality and not through language?
By the Buddhist meditations are trying to bring you to the silence that is holding the space for everything.
Right.
And this is the feminine aspect of the divine. The feminine aspect of the divine is the receptive aspect, meaning there's like a canvas, a space, upon which all of reality is going to play out. And so Buddhism takes you to that canvas, to that space, to the silence that's behind the movement. Judaism says God is the silence, but God is also the movement. I don't want to go back to the silence because I myself am the movement. I want to know the movement. What is the right movement? How do I move along with this and I don't ruin it or cause destruction or damage? And so the movement is related to organs and body parts. This is what's doing the movement, but not just in man, but in the astrological order. In the signs, in the planets, they're all related to the organs. Like if you look at these palmistry books or the face reading books, they're all going to tell you here is Venus and here is Mars and here is Jupiter, because the language of the body and the language of the stars are the same. Whether they know how to interpret or not, this is the ancient tradition.
Right, it's there.
This was known in all the ancient cultures. And this is where idol worship comes from. And so essentially, if there's a body part that I like to please, and on account of that, I cause destruction to other body parts, this is, in essence, idol worship. This is called Ovid Kechov Mimazolis. He's worshipping stars.
Say more.
And astrological signs. He's worshipping the planets. He's worshipping the forces that are animating him and not the one intelligence that's running them.
If someone is more responsive to some of his needs than others, you're saying?
Yes, if he neglects any needs in the account of other needs, then he is worshipping parts of himself which are run by the Kechovim and the Mazolis, and he's not living in the unity. So eventually this is going to turn against him.
Fascinating. So you're saying that aspect of it, someone who's seeing the world, recognizing all of the forces that are, is in some ways closer to Judaism, even though it could...
The idols
even though it's the one that contradicts Judaism more than any other.
The language of the Torah is to people who come out of Egypt, and Egypt was the ultimate culture of idol worship. They knew all the idols. Paro had a book of every single possible idol, right?
Right. In some ways, that was the war. Whose God is bigger?
Yeah. Whose God is bigger, meaning...
Between Moshe and Paro.
Do you know the forces, and do you know how to use them in your favor? And power was the biggest one. And these were spiritual forces. This wasn't just physical forces. They had techniques of going beyond the physical. They were a very spiritual culture, but they were contaminated in the sense that the moment you're not worshiping the unity, there's a concept of self that separates from the collective. And that concept is essentially what becomes the idol. The ultimate problem with the idol worshipper is not that he's worshiping Mars. It's that who decided that he worships Mars and not Venus?
Him.
The small self. This is the problem. That's what he's worshiping essentially.